Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome into another Big Men on Campus NFL preview video. It's week 8, and we're breaking down all the games here as we head into another NFL Sunday. Excited about the card. Excited to get into all the games here as we look to make some money here at the end of October. Next week, we'll be already into November. Crazy. Got Halloween next week. Should be a spooky week, but let's get some money before that spooky week. A lot of games to get into. We got some weather games. We got some interesting line movement, some injuries. We'll get to all of it here over the next 45 minutes or so. So sit back, relax, and tune in here. Hopefully all having a great Sunday morning. Nothing better than NFL Sundays. We'll break it down and get to it here in just a second. I want to shout out everyone for watching the show right now on YouTube. Do me a favor, if you're on YouTube, go over to Twitter, retweet that link, get it out to people, like the show, interact with me on the chat box. I'll try to get to all the questions. Again, though, you don't need to ask about certain games. We're going to get to them all over the next 45 or so minutes. Nuke Worker, Jimmy, Crypto, Adam, Corey, Adam, thanks for watching. All you guys in here, appreciate it. Let's get to it. We'll start out first with yesterday, college football. I didn't love the card yesterday. I went 1-1. Look, I think it's important that you can't force things. And there were games that I was close on, just didn't have enough. Didn't have enough to run on. And I'll tell you one I missed out on was Washington State. I knew that was too many points. I don't know why I didn't play it. But we have so many bowl games coming up. We got a whole nother month of college football. You definitely got to, tread lightly. And, in the NBA, I've been doing pretty well. So, it's all about just kind of – I was even across the board yesterday, actually. But NFL hopefully will get me out. And NBA continues to be very profitable so far in the first week. By the way, if you're looking at NBA, every double-digit dog has cashed so far. I believe there have been 6. All 6 have cashed. But let's get into the NFL. A lot going on here today. Let's start it off in where do we want to start? Let's start it off in let's go to Chicago. Chicago here hosting the LA Chargers. Chicago currently a 3.5-point favorite. Total is 40.5. Keenan Allen looks like he's going to play today according to ins and outs. Which is a great thing for them. The problem is, listen, most of the Chargers' issues have come from a couple different sources. First of all, the defense hasn't been particularly good. But, again, this could be the worst offensive line in the NFL. There's been no luck on the injury front. They've just struggled considerably. You look at on the season, guys, this is quite amazing. They're 31st in the NFL in pass block efficiency. I mean, Phillip Rivers has gotten hit more than anyone in the NFL. They've allowed 109 quarterback pressures, 75 hurries. I mean, this has just been a complete mess on the offensive line. Now, I know they're getting Russell Okung back today, and that could help down the road. I just don't know how effective it's going to be today. This Chicago defense, one of the better pass rushing teams in the NFL. We know they have, guys like Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks and guys like that. This team's grabbing about 3 sacks a game, which is terrific. They've been a great pass rushing unit all season. And I got some real wonders about how the Chargers – look, here's the thing. In the NFL, if you can't win the battle of the, trenches, you ain't going to win a lot of games. And they never win the battle of the trenches. Melvin Gordon has then had trouble. He can't run the ball effectively. We know the Chargers are a team that just can't move the football because they don't have any time. Phillip Rivers gets hit too much. But I look at the Bears and I say, well, where does the offense come from this group? Because you put Mitchell Trubisky out there, their offensive line isn't great either. And you look at as far as yards per play, I mean, they're averaging about 4.5 yards a play, which is among the worst in the NFL. They just can't get any consistency either offensively. Chicago's been disappointing in certain games defensively, i.e. particularly that game against the Oakland Raiders. Last week they had trouble. But I think this is a nice tonic to bounce back here with a Charger team that I just don't think can move the ball real effectively because of that offensive line. I don't think it's going to get any better. I think this game's probably first to 20 is going to win. Under, I think, has a little value. I'm not really looking to bet it under where it is now. That 40.5 number, it's under 42, which definitely hurts as well. If I had to play this, I would be looking towards an under here. I just don't think this is going to be an incredibly paced game or we're going to see big plays all around the field. Neither quarterback just has had much in the way of time to throw the football. So it's hard to think you're going to have, offense, kind of a high tempoed offense, that kind of thing. You also look at from a plays per game perspective, these two teams, Chicago 27th in the NFL, Chargers 21st in the NFL. So both pretty slow from a plays per game perspective. Neither are going with tempo or anything. If I had to play this game, I'd be looking nothing other than under 40.5. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. Please interact in the chat box. James, Jimmy, Vitalis, Bet Abroad, DT, Jukes, all you guys, Jeff Hanna, Sergio, Burst One, Jawan, Aaron, Demetrius, AJ, Corey, all you guys. Thank you for watching the show. It's very appreciative. All right, let's keep it moving. We'll go to the next game. Giants and Lions in Detroit. Lions laying, where are they at here? I want to always get the best lines. Lions are laying, where the fuck are they? 6.5. Total 49.5. Look, here's the truth of the matter. This Lions team's had some tough luck. Let's just be real with ourselves here. They've been really competitive in a lot of games. They beat an Eagles team that was at the time better than they are now. They really have had no easy games. They had an easy game one against the Cardinals, but they blew a big lead. Other than that, it has been hard sledding against good opponents. Now you're in a different role for the Lions. You have to lay points and you have to get the job done. I think they're capable of doing it, though, today. You look at this Giant defense. They're giving up 34 points a game on the road. They're 2-5 against the number overall. And I talked about it on the right side of campus a little bit earlier this week. You look at this secondary for the Giants and how bad they are. I mean, you look at on the road, they have just been gutless, giving up over 370 yards a game. They've given up 8 passing touchdowns. And this secondary stinks. I mean, DeAndre Baker, Grant Haley, Janoris Jenkins, all these guys have been vulnerable. And I look at Matt Stafford and I say, okay, it's time to throw the football down the field. And he's been able to do that. You look at on the season, Matthew Stafford, 26 completions of over 21 yards. He is throwing the ball downfield. He's getting it to Marvin Jones, to Kenny Golladay, to Hawkinson, to everybody down the field. It's been fun to watch this offense. Look, I love Stafford. I've said before, I think he's one of the more underappreciated gunslingers in the NFL. I think if you give him a running back and a defense, I think he can win a Super Bowl. I think he's that good. But that lies where my concern for Detroit covering this number could come from. I think they will. The only concern is that defense, because this defense has played down. They have not gotten stops. They're going to be without Darius Slade today. They already lost Quandre Diggs. The pass rush has been okay. It's been pretty good against the run, but I don't have a lot of reason to think they can get a ton of stops either. Could they get a stop when it matters most? Sure. And I have Detroit winning this game by double digits, but I don't think it's ever going to be easy. I look at this game as like a 31-21 kind of game, 34-27. It's going to be tough. But anything under that 7, I still would buy on Detroit. I have a feeling at some point they're going to have one of those let their hair down games where they go out and they really beat up a team defensively. And they have every reason to do it today. This Giants team is not good. This Giants team defensively stink. And this is a Detroit offense that needs to finish in the red zone. That's really, look, at the end of the day, if you can finish in the red zone, you're going to do real well in this league. And you look at teams like, Houston, Buffalo, Indianapolis, Seattle, Minnesota, Dallas, all these teams that are playing well so far this year, all those teams are top 10 in the NFL. Detroit just out of the top 10. They need to be good in the red zone today. I think they will be. I think we see some big plays. I'll lean on Detroit. I think their defense gets enough stops, but again, one of those concerns is, can they get enough stops? This Daniel Jones, we know he can move the ball. This isn't a great defense at the end of the day. Over looks good here. My only concern is as to why the number hasn't moved. Here's a concern about the Giants. Okay, if I have a concern on the over, game over, this is the problem I have. The Giants aren't particularly quick. They don't go fast. I think they're going to look to establish the run a little bit. And I get a real concern about the Giants in the red zone. I've seen this team in a lot of games this year move the ball, then get to the red zone and just fucking ball, pan out. I think in the red zone, they're only scoring about 53% of the time. It's not great. It's not great numbers. They need to be better in the red zone. I'm just really not sure that they're going to be good enough in the red zone. I still think they'll get to like 17, 20, and that'll be enough to put this game over. But I worry about them finishing. I think they'll move the ball, the Giants, but I got to worry about, can they get the ball and score a touchdown is really the bigger question. All right, let's move on. Jets, Jags. This is one of the weather games today, guys. Very windy down in Jacksonville. You have weather that's going to be a factor here. And look, at the end of the day, I mean, this Jets team just can't throw the ball. I mean, their quarterback, it just seems like they continue to throw him out there, and he's not healthy. We all know the quote he had last week about seeing ghosts. This is a Jets team that's the slowest tempo in the NFL. This is a Jags team that is the worst red zone touchdown percentage team in the NFL. This just screams under. I mean, I've had some decent success on this show with finding one game on the board and betting it under. I think with adverse wind, I think with the inability of these offenses to move the ball, to score touchdowns, I think there could be some fourth downs that you don't kick because of wind. And again, the Jets offense is laughable. And look, as we know, this Jags defense still pretty good. You got the negative energy out of there. And this is a defense that I trust to get stops. I actually also like the Jets defense. I just think they faced a team last week that was just way better than they are. But for me, this is pretty short and sweet to me. It's pretty simple that if you go with teams that go slow, that don't finish in the red zone, you will win. And Jacksonville is, guys, this is horrible. You look at the Jets this year, or the Jacksonville Jaguars this year, 33% of the drives they have in the red zone finish in touchdowns. That's dead last, and it's horrible. Jets aren't much better. They're at 50%, so they don't score in the red zone either. These teams settle for field goals. That's what the Jags love to do. I'm going to go under the number here in this game as my first free pick here on the show, under 40.5. I think this is like a 17-13, 21-17 type of game. I think it'll be around 35, 36, something like that. I just have no reason to believe either of these teams will. And also, at any rate, I know the Jets are struggling, and you don't love to back Darnold, but I mean, do the Jags ever win by margin? Seems like kind of interesting that they're laying over a touchdown here. 7 points is nice against the Jags. Seems like they play every game close. All right. I do have one concern, though, and it's Leonard Fournette. I hope they can kind of bile him up here. Their run defense has been good, though. So, I kind of feel good about that. All right. Bengals and Rams over in London. This is at Wembley Stadium. And astute point, I was talking with Donnie Wrightside a little earlier. Him and I were chatting about some of the games, and he mentioned that he was going to take the Rams, but he doesn't like that this game is at Wembley. I know Wembley, and he made an astute point. Wembley has not had particularly great field conditions, which is always a concern. If you're betting London games, as he told me basically, he likes games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which there are two different stadiums they play games at over there. Listen, I don't fault you if you take the Rams today. I think everyone's kind of waiting for that game where the Rams just kind of get it right and get going. Here's the thing. I mean, they're going to score points today against this beleaguered Cincinnati defense. This defense is horrible. The 31st in the NFL, giving up over 6.4 yards per play. They're 29th in overall passing defense. Their linebackers are some of the worst in the league. They can't tackle. They're injured. Denard's injured in the secondary. They got some real concerns. I think if you're Cooks, your Woods, your Cup, your Gurley, your Golf, you should all have big days here. I guess the only thing that concerns you is the field conditions. This is a bad Bengals team. I don't blame Zach Taylor. I mean, again, he's not really given much to succeed here. This defense stinks. But keep in mind, in the NFL, since the international game started over there, favorites in London are 17-9 against the spread. So it's been a success to lay points here. I think the Rams put up plenty of points today. I do. And the Bengals, I think with the addition of Jalen Ramsey, he just completely shuts down one side of the field. And with a team already in the Bengals that is pretty beat up, I mean, A.J. Green ain't playing. I mean, Cordy Glenn's still out on the offensive line. I mean, what kind of weapons do you really have with this team? You know, it's like Joe Mixon and Eifert and, you know, guys like that, just middle tier NFL players. I think this is the game where the Rams put it all together. You know, I think they push 30, 31-13, 31-10, something like that. I think you see a really solid defensive performance from them today. Really kind of like the game they played last week against Atlanta. The only difference is that the Bengals are not anywhere near the caliber of a passing team that the Falcons are. Also, keep in mind, we talked earlier about the Chargers' offensive line. This Bengals offensive line, give them a run for their money. They are horrific as well. I think the Rams put it together here. I don't hate a first half play. I think they come out on fire. I think they stretch it and win comfortably here. I think anything under 2 touchdowns is actually pretty fair here. I know the Rams have had their struggles, but they seem to be figuring it out. I'll tell you what. Again, I'm not a huge teaser guy, but you get the Rams down to 6 looks really appetizing here. To be real honest with you, just having a win by that touchdown seems really inviting. To be honest. So keep that in mind as well. But I'll say 31-13, something like that. I think that sounds about right. Aaron Donald could be an absolute mammoth today on that defensive line against a bad defense. All right, Bucks Titans. This game is kind of interesting. The Bucks have been obviously really good against the run, and they've not been good against the pass, as we know. Tennessee currently a 1.5-point favorite, total 45.5. The Bucks have been really good, as I said, against the run. They've just figured it out. They now run that 3-4 defense. Todd Bowles has some pretty solid linebackers that have been able to get up and stop the run. And they're stuffing a lot of teams. It's been impressive. But if you're Ryan Tannehill today, this is not an offense in Tennessee that has had success running the ball. Derrick Henry's not had a great season. They've struggled to move the ball on the ground. I think if you're Tannehill, you got to open it up a little bit. This Tampa Bay defense is vulnerable at the back. I think you have a pretty decent group of receivers here. I mean, Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, Adam Humphries, all guys that I kind of like. Delaney Walker, solid tight end. I'm willing, if I'm Tennessee, to maybe air it out a little bit more. I think Tannehill is the better quarterback. I think he puts him in a better position to move the football, and I think he puts him in a better position to win games. Really kind of like Kyle Allen's done for the Carolina Panthers. We also know that when Tampa Bay's on offense, we know their general thought process on things. It's throw the ball. It's get the ball downfield. It's avoiding running the ball. They have some of the worst offensive running backs in the league, just not a ton of talent in the backfield there. And we know what that's going to do. It's going to make Jameis Winston turn the football over. Look, at the end of the day, I like the Titans a lot more in this matchup. I think they're definitely more more likely to get a stop here. They have had a pretty good pass defense all season. I think they're going to be equipped to handle this passing offense. They just have to score touchdowns in the red zone, and they've done a nice job at doing that. I much trust them a lot more to get a stop than I trust the beleaguered Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, the strength of this team defensively is running the football, defensively stopping the run. Tennessee, I think you got to air it out. I think they have some success doing that. Tennessee's also been very good defensively all season, and Tampa just hasn't giving up 31 points per game. I actually like Tennessee in this game. I'll lay the points here, the 1.5. I think Tennessee gets another big win today against a Tampa Bay team that I just think strengths are going to be at a standstill today. All right, couple comments here. Titans injuries in the secondary. All right. I have to definitely look at their injury report. I didn't know they had injuries in the secondary. Tennessee, not a team that is incredibly reported on. They don't have a ton of real big name players. So for whatever reason, we don't hear a ton about it. Let's see here. I want to see some inactives. That's one that I did not look up. Let's see here. Bucks inactives, they're nickelback. MJ Stewart's out. That'll help. This is an easy one, Giant. Whoops. Let me see here. It looks like Delaney Walker's on the. That sucks. Delaney Walker is out today. That stinks. Adoree Jackson out today as well. Not great, but I still would trust them. They got to stop, which is what I'm going to need. I still think they'll be able to move the ball. OJ Howard not going to play today. Their center and guard, they have injuries there as well. Their nickel back, which is concerned. That's fine. I still believe they'll get stops when they need them and be fine. So I'm going to go with the Titans here to get the job done against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll lay the 1.5. You also look at that secondary. I mean, Logan Ryan's still out there. Kenny Vaccaro's still out there. Malcolm Butler's still out there. But again, you're going to have to find a player to play the slot. That could be a concern. But O.J. Howard, not going to play. So, that slot who can generally kind of grab, the tight end or whoever. I'm going to I'm going to still stick with Tennessee. I think they'll be fine. All right, let's move on here. All right, let's go up to Buffalo. Eagles headed on the road to take on the Bills. Another road game for the Eagles. 3 straight road games. This is a tough stretch for the Eagles. I mean, it's just that simple. You've had a lot of strife in the locker room. You've had some gutless performances. They've given up 76 points over the last 2 games. This is another windy issue. Buffalo's going to have probably the worst weather conditions of any game today. The forecast up in Buffalo is not good. You look at currently 55 degrees, no precipitation. 27 mile an hour winds, though. And as this game goes on, I mean, it's going to be windy all day. You're not going to have particularly good conditions to throw the football. 27 mile an hour winds, that's nothing to sneeze at. You're going to have gusts probably into the 40 mile an hour range. It's just not good, really. I mean, the kicking game is going to be a mess. This is going to be a game where I think the ball is going to be on the ground a lot. I mean, you're just not going to be able to throw the ball considerably well. And look, Josh Allen, for what it's worth, isn't particularly good at throwing the ball downfield anyway. And that's where I think when you play the Eagles, you can destroy them in the second. They're just not good. But this wind stuff really helps the Eagles, to be real honest with you. It's going to basically make the Bills, I think, run the football a lot more. And that's one of the strengths of this Eagle team. Now, again, remember, the Eagles don't value linebackers, and that's been pretty evident. Nigel Bradham's also not going to play today. Can the Bills get to that second level and get to those linebackers? If they can, they'll play well and likely win this game. But I look at the Bills, and I guess the big concern is, do you believe in this team? Because in the one loss they had, that was the really only step-up game. In their 5 wins, the combined record of those teams, 6-27. And they're not exactly beating them by a lot either. I mean, every game is close. Remember the Bengals game a couple weeks ago? But, you talk about it. You hear it all the time. Is it a buy low, sell high spot for the Eagles? Because there's no lower team right now, really, in the NFL than the Eagles. They've had a lot of issues in this locker room. But here's my thought as the week has went on. Orlando Scandra called them out. It made basically the leaders of this team step up. And I got to tell you, if history's going to suggest anything about the Eagles, it's generally that the Eagles from Friday on will take that as fodder, kind of like you would take, hey, we're going to win a game this week. I think the Eagles take it, and I think it turns into really good stuff. I think. Again, this offense has problems, and they're not going to move the ball considerably well today. They've got to consider keeping the ball on the ground. Jordan Howard should have a heavy workload today, short passes, and that's what the Eagles do best. Short stuff, intermediate routes. I think they're better equipped to win a game like this. And again, my tune has changed with this game because there's a lot of things that have unpacked from Friday till now. You got the Scandra comments. You have the fact that the wind is horrible. This is a better suited game for the Eagles to win. And that's one of the reasons this line has plummeted. And that's one of the reasons I think you're getting Eagles money. I think they're just better equipped to win a game like this. And I'm looking at this number. You can get a money line right now on the Eagles. Basically, at the near 105. You get 1.5. You got to lay 120. I'm looking towards. And at the end of the day, if the Eagles lose this game, 4-4 looks a whole lot better than 3-5. So, and again, they got the Bears next week. So, at home. Here's the thing. Eagles have to win this game. It's just that simple. I think they're better equipped to do it. I think they'll win it today. And again, I've called them out. I've called them gutless this week. But then Orlando Scandra started talking. And in the NFL, stuff like that builds leaders. Hit the like button, please. Thank you. Also, tell your friends. Listen, I know there are guys that do the NFL and they're great, but listen, this show, it's one of the best they're going to be. So thanks all of you for watching. Let's keep it moving. Got a few more here. Broncos and Colts. Here we go. A motivational spot here. You got to wonder, where's the head at for the Denver Broncos? You just let go of your best receiver. Now you got to go on the road to a place where, look, the truth of the matter is the Colts have been not good, not great. They have been excellent at home, laying a touchdown or less. You look at over the last 8 games as a home favorite of 7 or less, 7-1 against the number. Frank Reich is terrific. Jacoby Brissett looks comfortable. Everybody's healthy. You have, to me, the best offensive line in the NFL. You're at home here. You're getting your big-time safety back, Malik Hooker. You're also getting your big-time cornerback in Kenny Moore. Darius Leonard's healthy, who's a tackling machine. Justin Houston, Jabal Sheard, Danico Autry against a bad Broncos offensive line. Against a team that's on the road, that can't throw the ball. You look at on the road, Broncos averaging about 180 passing yards a game. Darius Leonard's huge for this defense because he is such a tackling machine. Him and Anthony Walker are so great at the linebacker position. I think anything under 7, it's got to be played. Colts just get it done. It's just that simple. Denver, you also look at the fact Denver has given up. Now, I know people will bring this up. Denver's given up 16 points a game this year. Now, let me tell you why that's a fraud number, okay? Let's look at the quarterbacks they've faced, okay? Week 1, they played Mitchell Trubisky. I'm sorry, no. Week 1, they played Derek Carr. He beat him up, 24 points. And he's not an elite quarterback. They played Mitch Trubisky. Who cares? He's a nobody. Me and 10 listeners could stop Mitch Trubisky. He faced one elite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' stat line. They put up 27 points, and Rodgers threw for 235 yards. Okay, so they didn't pass the test there. They gave up a lot of points. They faced Gardner Minshew, who actually had a pretty good game, and they lost to him. Okay, they gave 26 points there. Minshew's not an elite quarterback. Then they faced Phillip Rivers, who's a good quarterback, but he has no time to throw, and he threw 2 interceptions. And we know that offensive line stinks, so we don't give them any credit. Then he played the Titans and Marcus Mariota. It was no Tannehill. They shut out the Titans, but again, Mariota was horrific. Then they played Matt Moore and the crazy good Chiefs and got destroyed in that game. So what has Denver's defense really done? Okay, they shut down Mitchell Trubisky, Gardner Minshew, Phillip Rivers, and Marcus Mariota. All 4 quarterbacks have struggled considerably this season. Okay, now you're going to face – and look, I'm sure you're probably saying, well, Jacoby Brissett's not a great quarterback either. Right, but he's succeeded immensely in this system, and he's got weapons all over the place, and he's got a coach that just gets the best out of him. They're at home. He's got a great offensive line. It's all about the battle of the trenches, and look, to be real honest with you, I think the Colts win this by a sizable margin because of that ability of that offensive line, that defensive line. I think it's a long day for the Broncos. I really do. I think this is the game where they fold. They felt folded the other night. I think they fold here as well. I think they become sellers. All right, Cardinals Saints. I don't have much in this game. Obviously, I don't think we're going to see David Johnson today, which, it definitely hurts not having him in there, but this offense is fun. They like to run around. They like to run the spread offense. They're going quick. And, they can move the ball. This Saints secondary, it is a little vulnerable at the back. Their run defense is very good, though. Again, I'm really not understanding why Drew Brees is going to play today. I don't get it. Again, I know it's like an NFC game, and, you want to, play well and you want to be in there, but I'm not really – you have a bye next. I'm not really sure why he's playing. Like, you should win this game. I don't – Teddy Bridgewater's been really good. He's 5-0. He's thrown 9 touchdowns. He's got a 70% completion percent. I don't understand this decision. Give Brees another week. It's not like he's not old either. I don't understand why he's rushing to play today. I don't get it. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not a decision maker either. So I'm not going to comment on it really further than that. But Vitalis, as he's saying, they have injuries. I think they can move the ball though. Brees is the face of the franchise, but it's not a rush to move back. Bridgewater's been fine. Why not give him an extra week? It's not like you won't need it. You're going to make a playoff run. Take all the time you need. I don't. It's not like Bridgewater sucked. I can understand if he's not played well. I just don't really understand it. But that's not my decision to make. But yeah, as far as this game, you have the Saints as a where's this number at? Saints 12.5, total 48.5. Number seems a bit high to me. This is my thought. No Kamara today. Cardinals have actually been pretty sneaky, pretty good offensively as well. Should be able to move the ball. Kyler Murray, Dome, no weather issues. Breeze coming back. Again, it's not like Breeze has looked that great either. He's kind of looked a little brittle, at least late last year and early this year. So, gun to my head, give me the Cardinals. Seems like a little too high. Cardinals are sneaky. We know they're never going to get never out of a game. All right, let's go to one more 1 o'clock game. Seahawks and Falcons down in Atlanta. Obviously, Matt Ryan, who had a little bit of a high ankle sprain the other day, doesn't look like he's going to play today. Yes, he's ruled out. So that means Matt Schaub is going to be the quarterback. Donnie Wright said made it clear to me that he thought Schaub was the better fitted to play in this game against the Seahawks. Look, the Seahawks defense at the back is not good. I think they have real concerns in the secondary. And look, we know the Falcons do as well. The Falcons are the worst defense in the NFL. I just it's that simple. Russell Wilson will make plays all over the field today. And it's going to be a long day for that defense. I think Schaub can move the ball, to be real honest with you. I know the front seven is actually quite good for the Seahawks, but as usual with Dan Quinn, it's bomb away. The great thing about being a quarterback in Atlanta is you have Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, who is the best receiver in the league. So you can just kind of get the ball to those guys and they'll make the plays. So it's actually a pretty good situation to be in. As far as a total in this football game, you have a number at 50. This seems like a shootout. Just my thoughts. Keep in mind, Atlanta giving up 32 points a game. Seattle's not been much better. They're giving up over 25 a game. I think both quarterbacks make plays. Obviously, Russell Wilson's going to make plays. This is what he does. And, look, Seattle's been really good in the red zone. They're scoring touchdowns. And, I love Wilson. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I know there'll be people that will argue with me on that, but I have real concerns about this Falcon defense. Josh Allen or Breeze for fantasy? You can't be serious with that question, right? Why the fuck would you start Josh Allen today? Did you see the weather? I mean, again, maybe you don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't. I have no interest in Josh Allen in fantasy. It's not going to be ideal. And you have Breeze, who is going to be in a nice toasty dome, and he's got Michael Thomas and weapons to throw to. So, yeah, Josh Allen would not be a fantasy quarterback I would start today. No. So, yeah, to answer the question on this game, Falcons get no pass rush. The defense stinks. I would look over the number. I think both these teams get into the 30s, to be honest with you. Panthers and Niners, 4 o'clock game here. Teams that have won 4 straight heading into the bye, like the Panthers, are 13-3 against the spread out of a bye since 2003. That is really good stuff. Ron Rivera has also been really good in this road underdog role. This is a dangerous spot for the Niners. And eventually they're going to lose, okay? And I think it's today. I think the Panthers will beat the Niners. I have some real concerns about how they handle Christian McCaffrey, to be real honest with you. I think the Niners defense is good. I think it's legit. But eventually they're going to get tested. I don't know how good it's going to be that with them running the ball today, the Niners. I don't love Garoppolo in this matchup. Panthers have been a good defense. They've had a great success in the secondary. And we don't know George Kittle's status. He's likely to play, but I think he's limited. I just looked at this game, and I think the Niners are a contender, but eventually they're going to slip up. And again, I know they're 6-0, but the strength of schedule is the worst in this conference. They don't play anybody. And an important injury that is going to be talked about as this game gets here. Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, he is imperative to them running the football. With him not in there, that's a big loss for them. This is upset written all over it to me. I like the Panthers. Raiders and Texans down in Houston. Oakland, another road game for them. They're another team that's played a lot of road games. I believe this is the 4th straight road game for Oakland. Wild. Houston laying 6.5, total 51.5. Look, we all know that Houston's got deficiencies. Really the one deficiency is the fact that Bill O'Brien's their head coach. They're also going to be without Will Fuller, which definitely hurts. You love everybody healthy. You love all the weapons available. Listen, Houston's just a dumb team. They have a bad offensive line. They commit a lot of penalties. Houston's one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. Look, I like them. I like Watson. He's been terrific. And, that's cool and all, but there's just a lot of things about Houston I don't like. I don't love their defense. B.O.B. blows. And they just commit too many penalties. There's nothing worse than teams that commit penalties on 3rd downs after they get a stop. Texans, I almost guarantee they lead the league in that metric. They just extend drives. They're just a hard team to root for and watch. You look at the Raiders. If this gets to 7, I think there's some interest here. I got to be honest. I like Waller. I think he's a good player. This is not a Texans team that's been good against opposing tight ends. If this gets a 7, I might buy on the Raiders, to be real honest with you. The Texans just don't do the little things, and it is maddening. You also look at Houston. Houston allows a touchdown on 68% of their opponent's red zone possessions. Problem is, Oakland's even worse. Houston and Oakland are two of the worst teams in the league in the red zone defensively. They just don't get any stops. So, good luck with that. But I don't really trust Houston. If this gets to 7, I just don't trust Houston to win by margin. They just don't do the little things. All right, Cleveland heading on the road to take on New England. Cleveland has been a trendy underdog this week, but I think there's a lot of things clear. One of which is you really don't want to bet against the Patriots at home. You also really don't want to bet against the Patriots as a favorite. And look, I know all the news about the Browns is they're out of a bye, new week, new season for the Browns. We've heard that before. Remember all the hype before the season with the Browns? I mean, we know. We've heard this all before. The Browns, I just don't think are very good defensively. As usual, Tom Brady will pick teams apart through the air, just what he does. But there are some concerns with the Patriots. I mean, they haven't been a good red zone team. The turnover stuff's going to flip at some point. I don't think this defense can continue to play like this. I feel like if you like the Browns, why not just take the over? New England's going to score. I guess it's a question of, can Baker Mayfield read this defense? Does anyone want to give Baker Mayfield any credit? Because I'm not going to. I think he has no vision. He has happy feet. He makes mistakes. I just don't think he's a great quarterback. I mean, it's that simple. I said it coming out of college, I didn't think he'd be a good quarterback. He makes too many mistakes. Hugh Jackson, he's about the same. Who the fuck's their coach? Fred Kitchens. I mean, he's a mess from a play calling perspective. They bogged down in the red zone. Edelman should have a big day. The slot has been a mess for Cleveland's defense. You add Mohamed Sanu. It's going to be a great weapon. There's two ways the Browns cover in this game. It's Mayfield has a big day, and Brady just has no time to throw. But none of those things I feel like are going to happen here. So I'm actually going to fade the public here, and I'm going to lean with New England. I think they win comfortably. I think the Browns are who they are. I don't, and they have the most overrated player in the league, Odell Beckham as well. So who cares more about, his watches and fashion week and hanging out on yachts and, being a playboy than I don't know. I think the Browns are what they are. I'll lay it with the New England here. All right, one more game here. I believe we have one more game. Do we? Or did we hit them all? No, I think we hit them all. So there you go. We have one game tonight, Green Bay and the Chiefs. I usually don't touch the Sunday night game. I have no idea. Injury reports, I want to see that kind of stuff first. We'll see. That's that for me. Let me go with a couple free picks here. I'm going to go with under 40.5 Jets-Jags. I'm also going to play over 50 Seahawks-Falcons. And I'm going to take Carolina +5 against the Niners. That's it for me. You all enjoy your NFL Sunday. I'll tell you what. I'll do a couple minutes of questions. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'd love to go over that. Good call by Nuke Worker. I know the rain has just exited my area, so I'd imagine it'd be on its way up to New England. So keep that in mind. Just like Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts is going to be overrated in the draft. Well, I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to be a particularly big prospect anyway, but, I guess we just assume because he went to Oklahoma he will be. But, yeah, I totally hear you. They score points overseas. So, yeah, give me the Saints. All right. Don't really know what you're talking about. Packers all day. Okay. Do the Buffalo Bills get to the wild card? Let's settle down with that. Let's let them win a couple big games first. Really haven't beaten anybody. Yeah, I don't have any input on Chiefs Packers. I don't really normally give input on games that are 8 hours away. I need to see injury reports. I'm not really looking to give real thoughts about that without it. Josh Allen over 230 yards. I don't understand why any of you don't look at weather reports. Does anyone watch the fucking weather? No. Let me say this, make this clear. I don't like Josh Allen today. I know he's facing a bad defense. You're not going to be able to throw the ball. There's 30-mile-an-hour winds in Buffalo. The gusts are going to be into the 40s. I don't want Josh Allen. Josh Allen can't throw the ball downfield. No, I don't like Josh Allen. Fucking hell, man. I mean, we've had like 4 or 5 questions on Josh Allen. Watch the fucking weather, people. All right, we have some NBA. I'll get to that later. I'll throw a play out later for sure. I like one game, and I'll be on it. So make sure you tune in for that. I'm 6-1 in the NBA. It's been a nice season so far. Thank you, Nuke Worker. Any props? I don't play props. Are the Patriots winning the Super Bowl? I don't think they are, no, but they always do. For some reason, people think every London game is supposed to be a shootout. All right. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked them up, but the favorites do well there. Thank you, Molecular. Are you guys watching the show? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think some people are. Carolina is the best play on the board. Thank you, Lewis. I hope you're right. Buffalo fans getting thirsty for playoffs. Yeah, never good because they never win in the playoffs. All right, I'm out of here. You all enjoy your day. As I said, I'm going with Seahawks, Falcons over 50. I like under 40.5, Jets, Jags. And I like the Carolina Panthers +5. You all have a great day. Thank you for watching. As always, if you play my games, understand this show is free picks. None of these plays I actually sell my picks for the NFL. I have 2 plays today, which I've sent out already. Those are the best plays on the board, but these are just as about right there as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching all my content. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I go over the NFL, I go over college, I go over the NBA, and I also will start college basketball very soon, which many will argue is my best sport. I'm the most informative in the business, so make sure you join me for those shows as well. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your NFL Sunday. I'm the Big Man on Campus. Have a great day.